Hey everybody, this is Major League Hats here. I'm going to be doing a special hat review video for this week in honor of the 2018 FIFA World Cup that is currently going on. And I thought it would be very important to do the hat review on these two particular hats just because, one, it'll bring attention to, hopefully bring attention to the FIFA World Cup if you haven't been watching it. There's been some great matches, and I'm not a soccer fan, but whenever the World Cup comes on, I actually sit down and watch the games. I actually get really into them. And so I hope this helps you maybe get a little excited for the games that are currently going on. Hopefully your country/team is still in it. If not, you'll be able to enjoy some great soccer. So also I would like to bring some attention to the World Baseball Classic. It's probably the next hottest thing that's been coming up. I really like the World Baseball Classic. I hope it gets more popular. You know, they don't really show baseball in the Olympics. I'm not sure if it came back, but in reality, now that baseball's, if it's back in the Olympics, then okay, but if it's not, I don't really care if it ever comes back. So I really enjoy watching the World Baseball Classics. Now, there's a lot of people out there that might speak against the World Baseball Classic because that they say the players have to ramp up too quickly. They'll be off their, regimen because they have to start, training sooner, and they basically have to be in game shape a lot sooner because the World Baseball Classic usually plays in the beginning of late January, February, somewhere around there, early March. I freely get the exact time frame, but it's a lot sooner than spring training. Usually spring training, they usually report around the middle of February, like February 15th, 16th, somewhere right there is when pitchers and catchers, and then position players usually report about a week later. So with the World Baseball Classics, they're saying that the players are getting ramped up too quickly and potentially they get hurt. And then, of course, teams don't want to send their players typically to the Baseball Classic because they're afraid that they're going to get hurt or something. But in my opinion, I love it. I kind of wish they would maybe expand it. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. But I wanted to do a couple hat reviews on a couple of the hats that I have from the World Baseball Classic. I got one hat a number of years ago, and then this past year, I got the other hat. So the first hat I'm going to start out with, because they played today. They played against Sweden. They lost 3-0. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the score is. I'm still going to support this team because that's a part of me. That's part of my culture, heritage. So, and that hat is the Mexico hat. I really like this hat. I don't wear it all the time. I wear it once in a while, but I do wear it, so because I do like the colors and everything. So you have on the front, of course, you have your Mexico. You have the red outlining with the white in the middle there in the M, and then the green right in the center. You have your red brim, and then you have your green brim right here with your red dot. And of course, these are all the Mexico colors, and which is really cool. And then right on the side, you have a little Mexico flag with the eagle and the serpent right here in the middle. Hope you could see that. Hopefully that comes out good. If not, there's a picture online. You can go. And then, of course, in the back, you have the World Baseball Classic logo, which is really cool. It's your normal World Baseball Classic logo with the green, red, blue, yellow. And then, of course, the inside, you have your gray bill with the black sweatband. So it's really nicely done. I like this hat. If you haven't gotten into the World Baseball Classic, I'd highly recommend it because the way that they're doing it nowadays, you're actually starting to see a lot of major league players, a lot of major league talent playing in the World Baseball Classic. So virtually, with the exception, in my opinion, of one team, which if you guys have watched it, you would obviously think it would be Cuba because, with the Cuba the way it is, and we're not going to go into that, you don't have the best players playing for Team Cuba. So with the exception of Team Cuba, that would be the only team that doesn't have the best players out there. But when it comes to the Dominican Republic, Mexico, the United States, Team Canada, the Netherlands, you got a lot of great players or a lot of great major league talent playing for those teams. And in some cases, a player that doesn't have a current contract with the major league team can go play on these World Baseball Classic teams and get noticed which will help them potentially get a job playing in the major leagues. Either they'll sign a minor league contract or a major league contract. So it's big for them, especially for them when they don't have a contract and they're trying to showcase their talent, because they're having major league scouts go to these games. So these are big games. These are fun games. They're exciting. The atmosphere is crazy. They had some games going on in Miami, and I hate to tell you, the crowds in Miami for the baseball classic was bigger than the Miami Marlins crowds that come out for a Miami Marlin game. That's kind of sad. But it just reminds you, it just shows you how big and how much these games mean to people in a whole. You know, it's a way to show your pride for your country. This year, the USA team won. They won it in Los Angeles, which is really cool. They alternate the locations of where they play, so I never know where they're going to play. They play in Florida, they play in Mexico, they play in Los Angeles, they played 1 year in San Francisco, and they just rotate. They have qualifying games as well in other countries, so they just rotate wherever they play. I would like to go to a game someday. I don't know if I'll ever go, but you know, we'll see, but it's fun. So today I have the Mexico World Baseball hat, and if you are following me on Instagram and Twitter, you will see that I was wearing it today because, like I said, Mexico is playing Sweden. They lost, but they still advance, so it's okay. Mexico's still not out, so I'm happy about that. And if you're not following me on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at mlhatz5950. That's MLHATZ 5950. Okay, so if you didn't see that picture, please go check out that picture on my Twitter or Instagram. All right, let's get on to hat number 2. Now, looking at me, you probably didn't even know I'm Mexican, but I'm 50% Mexican, and I'm also American, of course. So I had to get, this was the first World Baseball Classic I have. I don't believe they're in the soccer tournament, honestly. I'm not 100% sure what the field is. I just kind of got into the 2018 FIFA Cup. I was in Toronto like the first week, so I didn't really pay attention to the games or which team was in which group, and I just kind of got into it a little bit today. I was watching the Mexico game, and then of course a little bit of the Brazil game, and paying attention to the Germany and Korea game. So I'm slowly getting into it, but I don't know if the USA team is. I'm kind of thinking they're not because I haven't heard nothing about them. But that's not going to stop me. This is a great hat right here, the World Baseball Classic USA hat. You have your nice USA with the red outlining on the outside. You got your navy blue brim, your navy blue crown, your navy blue button. And then, of course, on the back, you got your World Baseball Classic logo. This one's a couple years old. This was probably from about 5 years ago because they play the World Baseball Classic every 4 years. So this logo, actually, let me check it out. I'm not sure if it's different. If they changed it up this year. Let me see. No, it's the same logo. So it's the same logo, and I bought the hats on different years. So it's the same logo, so they didn't change it up. And then, of course, on the side you have the American flag, so that's really cool. So like I said earlier, if you haven't gotten into the World Baseball Classic, next time it comes around, I would highly recommend watching some games. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot, in a way, it's like a precursor to the Major League season. The games are actually better than watching the spring training games. And on top of it, you don't have the players in the spring training games that you would normally see because they're playing on the World Baseball Classic. Like this year, you had, if I remember right, you know, you had Posey and Crawford playing for the USA team. So they weren't with the Giants team. So when you watched the Giants spring training game, you weren't going to see them because they were with the USA team. So that was, you know, you want to watch the talent, well, that's where they're at. They're at the World Baseball Classic. Unlike the Olympics, you had amateur players, you had a bunch of college players that you weren't familiar with. So go watch the World Baseball Classic. I highly recommend it. So those are the 2 hats that I have for my World Baseball Classic collection. Now, I mentioned that I wish they would maybe expand the field or just come out with more hats. And the reason why I say that is because a part of my heritage is Russian, and Russia typically isn't known for baseball. So I don't know if they're ever going to really qualify for the World Baseball Classic. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they did one time or another before I started really getting into hats. But, you know, since they come out since the World Baseball Classic goes on every 4 years, I might have missed them. But at least the year that I got the USA hat and this past year when I got the Mexico hat, there was no Russia hat. So I just have to keep waiting. But I wish they would expand it at least so I can get a Russia hat. Because I kind of think it'd be cool to have like all the hats that my heritage is. And that way I can wear them and, you know, kind of show people a little bit about who I am. Because if you think about it, we're all in a melting pot. So nobody is 100% anything. And that's cool. I'm okay with that. I hope you guys are okay with that. Anyways, before I get off on that tangent, I just wish they would get a Russia hat so I get a Russia hat. So there you go. All right, so I hope you liked my hat review video on the World Baseball Classic hats. Like I said, if you haven't gotten none yet, I'd highly recommend it. If you haven't started watching any of the games, I'd watch the games. Obviously, it's going to be a few years before they get going again. Maybe if anything, just go online, look up some highlights, look up the Dominican Republic team from a number of years ago, the USA team from this year. The Japan is always a great team. They're always in top contention for the championship. So just go check them out maybe on YouTube or something like that. Just kind of get the juices flowing. All right, so I hope you liked my hat review. Please help me get 5 likes on this video. Remember, please subscribe and hit your notification so you get notified when I upload a new video. And if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you can do that at MLHats5950. That's MLHATZ5950. All right, this is Major League Hats out.